Aloha. In this video, I'm going to help you put it all together. How to take a look at a bill's status sheet, how to take a look at an actual bill, and translate that into the information that someone might want to see in a law office memo. I'm not going to go over how to read a status sheet because that is a different video. So go back and take a look at that and then come back to this one. But I'll start here because I want to show you a couple of places to find valuable information. Now, you know that if you scroll all the way down, you will find a list in here of everything that happened to the bill, including its final disposition, whether it passed the legislature or not. But on the side, there are links to all versions of this measure, which includes committee reports. So if you want to see what the actual bill looked like, you would click the bill link here, and you would find the words. This happens to be the section of the statute that deals with how we're going to dispose of dead bodies. And there is a purpose section here at the top, as there often is. And then when you get down to section 2, you'll see in the third line that the word unclaimed is crossed out. Whenever you see crossed out language in a bill, it's just like crossed out language on a piece of paper. It means that language is to be deleted. So for instance, under Part 2, it used to say unclaimed bodies, and now you have to look at the underlining, which indicates new language. Now it's going to read disposition of dead human bodies. Similarly, the first two paragraphs of this next section, 327-32, were deleted. Paragraphs A and B are stricken. So what's left is the former paragraph C, which is the new first paragraph, plus these new parts, paragraphs 1 and 2, that are underlined. And if you scroll down, you'll see that D was removed as well, and there's a little sentence added in at the bottom. So you read the statute by getting rid of everything that's crossed out and reading in the stuff that's underlined. Stuff that has nothing done to it is the original language that doesn't get amended. That's one way to figure out what happened to a bill, to actually look at what the language is, but sometimes that doesn't make it very easy. So instead, you can look at the committee reports. Now, if you remember on the status sheets, the committee reports were listed right on top of the bills. So if you take a look at the middle of the right-hand side of the page, you'll see both 3 committee reports and 2 bills. And so if you click on one of these, you will see that the committee actually tells you what the purpose of the bill is and who testified and what change was made. So in the middle of the page, you'll see that it says, your committee made technical, non-substantive amendments for clarity, consistency, and style. This is a formula type of language. All it means is that they made corrected some typos or did a little grammatical wordsmithing, but they didn't make any changes to the content of the bill. So whatever you understood the bill to be by taking a look at the original version is still current and good with the bill. So now that you know this, how do you turn this into a legal memo? I'm here to explain to you why we're doing this specific assignment, why a memo, and why it's important that you do it correctly. Legal memos are very important in a law firm because they're ways in which paralegals and attorneys write down the information they have collected and the analysis they have done that goes either between the paralegal and attorney in the office or even out to the client. What? Do you think I look a little less than professional right now? Well, you're right. It's because I'm wearing a red clown nose. Is it a little difficult to take me seriously when I'm talking to you about professional appearance when I'm wearing this? Yes, it is. And I just put that on to show you that when you're doing a legal memo, it's so crucial to get the format right, to get the grammar right, to get the content right, and make sure you're answering the client's question. If you don't, it's distracting, like this. And I want to make sure if you ever are in a legal workplace, as a paralegal, as an attorney, that you can do it right. A legal memo will always start with either 4 or all 5 of the lines you see at the top. there will always be a to line, and notice that it's tabbed over so that the names are all in a row. So in this case, this memo is to Susan Carr, partner. It is from Sarah Wong, intern. And when you write your memo, you will put your name in place of Sarah Wong's. Via is a line that you don't always see. It means that the memo was transmitted through somebody else, not directly to the partner. In this case, Sarah, being an intern, sent it through the paralegal manager first, who then reviewed it before he passed it on to the partner, just in case it needed any revisions. There's always a date line, and there's always a subject or ray line. This ray line will differ a little from firm to firm, but it generally will always include the name of the client, a little brief description about what the case is about, and the firm case number. Firms often have hundreds and hundreds of cases, and sometimes several from the same client. So it's important to specify not only the client's name, Kenji Hara, but which case this is and what the case number is. So once you have either all 4 or all 5 of the elements at the top, and I'll tell you for this specific memo that you're doing, do include the via line, we're going to go on to the next paragraph. The next paragraph is always going to be an introduction. Why? Because, as I said earlier, the firm has many, many cases, and sometimes several from the same client. You need to have a short summary of what the case is about. Even if you've just gotten the case a week earlier from the partner, by that time the partner could have read 75 memos on 50 other cases. So you need to specify what the specific case is. So in this case, Kenji Hara lost his wife in a car accident. The Department of Health thought that the body was unclaimed and donated it to the medical school. Kenji is distraught and he wants to sue the medical school for the fact that his wife was used as a dissection cadaver. And your partner is asking whether the Department of Health has any defenses to giving Doris's corpse to the medical school. So, after a brief recap, we're going to take a look and see what kind of content is required in these memos. The next thing you would tell the partner is what is the bill that we're talking about. They need the bill number, they need the bill introducer, and what the original bill said. This one says the original version of the bill, stated that there's a conflict, and amended the statute. Then you would also include the acronyms or the spelled out names of the committees that the bill is referred to so far, because that will determine how many hearings the bill has and how many times your firm may need to submit testimony. So after that, we have another paragraph. In the next paragraph, you proceed chronologically. You have just told your boss what the bill originally said, and now you're going to talk about any amendments that or changes that have been made to the bill. In this case, there is only one amendment by the House Committee of Health, and they only made technical, non-substantive amendments. So there is no big change that needs to be discussed. If you are doing a bill in which there is a significant change, this is the paragraph in which you need to describe that change in your own words to your partner. You also should state the effective date if the bill has been effective already. If you're doing a bill during the legislative session, then you would not state the effective date of the bill necessarily, because that changes throughout the session. In the next paragraph, you answer the partner's question. In this case, the partner asked whether the Department of Health had any legal defense to giving away your client's wife's body. And the summary here says that no, because after April 27th, when the bill changed the law, there were no legal grounds to allow the department to donate the body. You would have to modify this to answer your client's specific question. And the last sentence in the memo, which is on a line all by itself, is a request to let you know if the partner would like any further research on the issue. That's standard. So make sure you end with that. So when you do the memo for this week, think of the rainbow. You should have at least 4 paragraphs in your memo, and each of them has a specific function. Keep them in the right order, look out for your grammar and your word usage, and you'll get great marks on this week's assignment. Take a look at the rubric before you start to make sure you know what will get you the most points for your efforts.